Greetings. Today is September the 30th, 2012. I'm in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. This is take 2 of being in Peyton Park on Sunday. By the way, I was sitting here and I was speaking on the other clip. The brother brought me $10 just to help me out in what I'm doing. I say to that beautiful brother, thank you, my beautiful brother. Very few people will do that, but it's okay, I understand. Today I want to talk about the people that I love. And that is the people over in Brooks County and Lowndes County in general. In the Equipment Free Press, once again, we read about the viewpoint, elected officials that serve God first. And this is by the president of the Equipment Free Press, Robert E. Tribble. It seems strange that these people, it's obvious to point out the fact that they are conservatives, but they can't find anything good to say about the commander-in-chief of our sons and daughters serving this nation on foreign battlefields in time of war. We're not going to read the article because you know it's negative. And there is no opposition of a liberal writer or columnist to respond to the negativity that is directed toward the 44th President of the United States of America. We come down further in the Equipment Free Press, a paper that was established in 1876. It seems as if though over all these years, decades, that they would understand that diversity is needed and that black people should have a newspaper that tells their story as well. Come down further, you read the heading, Sound the Alarm, The Wars of Faith Continue by Jack Harrell. And I don't have to read that to you either, because you already know that it is negative, number one, towards liberals, number two, against Jesus, because you can read between the lines as my grandmother taught me to do. You see, love is about Jesus. Unity is about Jesus, although he did speak of separation as well. But Jesus said to love your enemies and to speak ill of no man and to care about the poor, the less fortunate, the widows and the orphans. Many organizations have been set up to address the issue and plight of the poor. But let me get back on point. Mr. Harrell article here, you know, if it's published in the Equipment Free Press, that is negative. But I do want to read the last paragraph for you from his column. We, the United States of America and the free world, need to recognize this and develop a national policy accordingly. Not diplomacy is going to work. No diplomacy is going to work unless it is based on a position of absolute strength and force without hesitation. We in the free world are not going to do this. Why? He asked. The Nation of Islam wanted more than we do. And the last sentence said, it would even appear our current administration is doing its best to assist the Nation of Islam. And you know that they have painted Islam as a terrorist nation, when in truth, if Islam is a terrorist nation, in truth, I'm a member of the Masonic Lodge. I'm a member of the ancient Arabic order nobles of the Mystic Shrine of the Black experience. Islam follows the Quran And when you drink the water symbolically from the well of the Zim-Zim, and when you say Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam, the Shriner says that they know that Islam was created to be a religion of peace and not terrorists. They know that. If I know it and they tried to keep the truth from me, then they surely know. Yet, in your eyes, they want you to think that, and they want you to hate the 44th President of the United States of America. As we listen to these new Christians, these new patriots, and in some cases, we find that we listen in the black community and we read how they try to tell us about the God that brought us from slavery. Mr. Jack Harrell also writes for the Whitman Free Press religious articles like this: Spirit of the Truth Bible Study. And you only need to read it and to do as my grandmother said, to read between the lines and see what he's sending out among the people of Brooks County and South Georgia in general. I'm not going to talk anymore about that. I appreciate the Whitman Free Press, because the Whitman Free Press could not print this unless they really believed in this. And it shows the heartbeat of the people yet living in Brooks County. I also want you to know that the week of terror in May 13, wherein Hayes Turner was lynched there in Marvin in the old campground, and until this very day, nobody has been brought up on charges. But then again, we didn't call any of those presidents the names that we hear this president is being called, because they didn't investigate those murders. They say we are a nation of law. Well, what does the record say? Does the record say we are a nation of law? Or does it say that we are a nation of laws for some people at the exclusion of others? The Valdosta Daily Times got an article right there about the President of the United States. And they continuously put articles in the newspapers that are negative towards President Barack Obama. And as you listen to 105.9, you will see that they don't even call him president. They just say Obama. Yet, when we could not vote, when we could not register, when we could not even raise a family, when we could not assemble in groups of more than 5, we still call whoever was in the Oval Office president. When we were not allowed to use the bathrooms and enjoy the other freedoms that was guaranteed by the white founding fathers of this republic. Those who wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, when they denied us those rights, we couldn't find a Tea Party nowhere in sight. We didn't have any black Rush Limbaughs or Glenn Beck who struck out at those white European 43 presidents that served. We just didn't do that. And so I believe personally that God have sent the black man through the pain and suffering aboard a slave ship called Jesus, captained by one Sir John Hawkins, a slave trader, in the year 1555, to come to North America to help save the soul of this nation. And if this nation is not careful, she's going to be destroyed from within, because she turned away every ship of freedom, every ship of love and justice that was sent by our God to help save herself from herself before she destroyed herself. But she rejects us as she rejects the God that sent us here. And so all we can do is sit back and watch the fulfillment of divine prophecy. And in the end, as a black African American that was raised over in Brooks County, Georgia, I know about Nigger Branch. I know about the Livingston Plantation. I know about black men being taken from their homes. Nobody want to report that. We know about the KKK. We know about the beautiful white Christians back in the day who met us more than halfway. They fought for us when we were unwilling or unable to fight for ourselves. And so this is why I say to black folks, don't hate all white people. In fact, don't let no white man or black man make you hate them. Let us stay on the love trail, because in the end, that's what's going to win. Don't let nobody fool you. Nations with the mightiest wars and armies, I mean. They had the biggest guns. They had the biggest weapons. They had the biggest mindset to fight. But when God stepped out on the scene, and just something as small as the river, just something as small as the sun, just something as small as the snow fell and conquered those great superior armies of the world. And so don't worry about anybody who talking about they getting up food in their homes. They gathering up the powerful weapons, the Uzis, the AK-47, the grenade launchers, and etc., etc. Planning for a revolution. There is no revolution outside of the revolution that the God of our ancestors will bring down, not only on America, but on the wicked, wherever they are. So what we must do is make sure that we are the most righteous among others, regardless of whether they're black, white, Asian, red, yellow, brown. Just make sure that you are the most righteous. And if you are indeed the most righteous, then you will be in the hereafter. But if you do not, then you cannot be in the hereafter. You can placate, duplicate, and even initiate the teachings of Jesus in a game-playing ceremony. But when it boils down to the situation, your soul will be lost. And if your soul is not lost, your very children in the coming generation will be lost, because you failed to do what the righteous of yesterday did. Now look, the Quitman 10 had a courtroom status report in the courthouse for September the 24th, I believe it was. And yet I'm waiting for the editor of K. Harris to write something about it. And if she wrote something about it and I missed it, I apologize to her. But I mainly want you to know that you have a right to know what goes on in your community. Now, the Quitman Free Press wrote an article about what took place at that court hearing, but they didn't get to, as Paul Hart would say, the rest of the story. She did a long article, but they didn't say anything about what the judge said. It's just like that meeting that took place on July the 17th, just like the meeting when the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, came to Brooks County to Quitman on Culpeper Street. The citizens of Quitman don't know nothing about it because nobody wants you to know about it. It is as if though they want to keep you ignorant. And when they do articles on meetings like that, they seldom get into the beat of voter rights and voter suppression that took place at those meetings. And so I want you to know that the Brooks County Board of Education as well, under President Brad Sheila, have denied me for about 6 months to attend or to get on the agenda to speak at the Brooks County Board of Education. But I'm going to continue that struggle. My open records requests have also been denied, which they were supposed to get back with me within just a few days, and they have ignored me. But I promise you that I will get back with you. I asked them how many people addressed the Board of Education over the last year, and they refused to answer my question. I asked them, why does the citizens of Brooks County have to wait 7 days to get on the agenda, when in a metro city like Valdosta, all you have to do is just walk up to the door, sign your name on a sheet of paper, tell what you're going to talk about, and you're at liberty to speak. But unlike Quitman in Brooks County, Georgia, even in 2012, and they are so bold in rejecting the citizens' right to speak until it is a disgrace under our form of government, I cannot even understand how the members of the Brooks County Board of Education can sleep at night by making it so hard for mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers and guardians of their children who care about the education of their children have to go through such red tape. And then they'll ask you like they asked me. You can meet with us behind closed doors at another meeting, and you don't have to come to the Board of Education meeting. Well, that's what I wanted to do, because as a United States veteran that served this country, I fought for others to have this rights in foreign countries, and it's a disgrace that I return home as a native of Brooks County and cannot even address the Brooks County Board of Education under Assistant District Attorney Brad Shealy, and those that served, and Miss Folsom, by the way, Superintendent Folsom, who was supposed to retire according to the Quitman Free Press and the Valdosta Daily Times, which I got in my archival record for our children, the coming generation, to read about. But yet she's still serving. So who or what told you that she was retiring? And can we trust the newspapers? Or can we trust her to do what she said? She received recognition and respect because she was going to retire. Yet, we don't see in the retirement papers. All we see is that she is still getting taxpayers' money after she said that she was going to retire. I'm going to leave you now. I want you to know that I talk like I do because I love you. Everybody cannot go to sleep at the wheel, y'all. What about the waste sewage that's backing up over in Quitman? I went over there a few days ago. You can see that on the same YouTube channel. The waste water coming up through the sink, coming up through the sink where they wash dishes. It just don't make sense. EPA was notified years ago. Yet I was called over there last week to report. And I'm sending a copy of this to the Quitman Free Press. A copy of this video is going to the editor of the Valdosta Daily Times and to all the local TV stations. And I want you to see if they go over and cover the sewage problems that those families are having over there in Quitman. I want you to see if they'll report it. But if they don't, I'm going to continue. Because if I could put my life on the line in foreign nations, look at here, one other thing, y'all. This is the thing I talked about. Mayor Gale and Larry Hanson, following the meeting, or the question that preceded the beef of the meeting, Mayor John Gale and Larry Hanson presented a resolution to ask Congress leaders and the President of the United States to work together in a nonpartisan partnership to develop a national deficit reduction plan. We have stood before the Mayor and Council. They've never issued a resolution to investigate or to get the governor of the state of Georgia, Republican Nathan Deal, to look into the jail deaths in the Lowndes County Jail from 1994 to 2009. And from 2009 to present, they won't tell us how many people have died in the Lowndes County Jail. Some of them was veterans, yet they lie to us and tell us that they love the veterans. According to Scripture, if you cannot do the work of Abraham, then you're not the seed of Abraham. My beautiful brother, Councilman Wright, stood up and he abstained, and I agree with my beautiful brother in part, but I disagree with him because he didn't outrightly deny and say, no, I vote against this resolution, because when we was trying to keep the biomass plant out, when we were looking for school consolidation, they wouldn't say a damn thing. But now they're going to stand up and talk about a resolution. And Vickers, Councilman Vickers and Councilman Payton, the other two black representatives were not there. And my question is why? And a lot in the black African American begin to think that they are so disconnected of their own council until they do certain things that make you think that many of the actions are not down the line or what is reflective of the old 1860 Valdosta City charter mentality, which said that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and orders for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to suppress and abate all nuisances arising from hog, dog, cats, and other animals in Valdosta. We can only ask ourselves, was this a political move? It seems like to me it's an ethics question. It's an ethics question concerning this is the year of the most controversial presidential election and elections in general in the history of our nation. Yet nobody's talking. Everybody's sitting back and they are quiet. They are so quiet until you can hear a pin drop. Look at that. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? It says, together we can protect what we owe them. And these are the children of our community, both black and white children. But yet the Brooks County School Board of Education will not let the parents of the children that attend Quitman and Brooks County schools They can't even address the Board of Education. Nor will they change the policy of a 7-day waiting period to even get on the agenda. And I'm going to continue to say it because I'm from Brooks County and I love Brooks County. That needs to be changed, and it needs to be changed as soon as possible. What say you, the people of Brooks County? What say you, the people in North Georgia? What say you, the people in South Georgia? It is indeed time for a change. And I don't want nobody to misunderstand me in any of my videos. Let me say this again. I've said it on some other ones. I am 100% sure, I repeat, I am 100% sure that South Georgia is going to change. The makeup of how they disrespect blacks in the hiring and governmental positions, how they down us on radio stations as if though we don't count, how Toyota here in Valdosta support Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, negativity towards the president. There seems to be a real racial divide. I drive a Toyota, but I won't buy another one. And other businesses that support the negativity against our sons and daughters out at Moody Air Force Base. I can only imagine how the liberals and the Republicans and the Green Party and independents must feel to hear the denigration of their commander-in-chief. The same ones, the same man that gives the authority for them to go fight in Iran, Iraq, wherever it may be, in the same manner as the other 43 all-white male presidents. I can only imagine how they feel. I can only imagine how the people feel that told me that out at the Wing Commander's headquarters, there's not a picture of President Barack Obama, and there has never been a picture of President Barack Obama in the Wing headquarters, I am told, by enlisted, black enlisted, and white enlisted, and black commissioned officers that I asked about. They can't talk while they're in uniform. This was brought before the local Valdosta and Lowndes County NAACP, and I was the person that were elected to go out and talk to the vice wing commander and public affairs officer who was a second lieutenant or first lieutenant. She promised me she was going to get back with me on that issue. I know the building is being renovated, but just because the building is being renovated, our sons and daughters still must go to pick up M16 to fight, and if necessary to die, and to disrespect the commander-in-chief of our armed forces on Moody Air Force Base in Valdosta, Georgia. And Valdosta, Georgia give home Valdosta State University, Georgia Wildgrass Technical College, Wild Adventures Theme Park, Georgia Military College, Kendaloo Golf Course, Francis Lake Golf Course. We got to get it right, y'all. We got to get it right. That is God's delight for us to get it right. Those that preceded us help us to come as a nation where we are today. We all cannot go to sleep. I repeat, we all cannot go to sleep at the wheel if we expect this republic to continue as a light and beacon of hope for so many human beings in God's world that seem to not have hope. Once again, this is George Boston Rhymes in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. Until next time, bye-bye. Be gone.